Yo, Scooch, on today's video, I got the how to make an equip slash unequip system. So pretty much it'll be utilizing a basic inventory system where you open up your inventory and then you can equip items by, clicking and stuff, and it'll be like tools and whatnot. So yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. And yeah, so first things first, as you guys can see, I have a folder inside of server storage. I'm gonna explain how this works. So server storage, plus icon, you're gonna insert a folder. Type it if you don't see it. Insert a folder. You're gonna name said folder items. This is where you're gonna store all your items and stuff, right? It can be anything. Weapons, tools, potions, whatever your game has and stuff, right? Then you're gonna insert the item. The name of the item is obviously very important and stuff, right? So this is gonna be tools and stuff so that we can just easily reparent it so that the player can just use it and stuff, right? So I named my tool sword. It's just the basic default sword from the toolbox, right? It's just a placeholder. So then head on over to replicated storage, click the plus icon, insert a remote event, rename the remote event to core event, right? Then open up starter player, insert a local script. And then let's do the UI first actually. So head on over to starter GUI, plus icon, screen GUI, disable reset on spawn, rename this to inventory GUI. We're going to make a basic inventory system so we can equip stuff. Then you're going to insert a frame. You're going to rename said frame to inventory frame. Then I'm just going to drag this to the middle. Going to just resize it. So like we could do like, I don't know, maybe 250, maybe do like 400 by 250 kind of thing, right? Then I'm going to set the background color to like a nice dark grayish black color. Then set the border to like 5 and stuff. We're then going to go ahead and insert a text label into the frame, top middle. This will be our header or title. So you could just call this inventory text label, right? Then I'm just double check to make sure. Okay, we're good. All right. Then we're just gonna set the text. So bold text, rich text, scale text. Text will be set to inventory. We could just make it text color be white. Text stroke transparency will be set to 0, and text stroke color will be black. Then we can set the background transparency to 1. Bam. Then we're going to go ahead and insert a scrolling frame into the inventory frame. So scrolling frame. Then you're just going to drag this to like the middle. Right. Make it a little bit bigger. So maybe like 300. Yep, like 300 by possibly 200. I think that should work. Okay. No, possibly 180. So 300 by, or 150 might actually, yeah. So we'll do 330 perhaps, yeah. We'll do 330 by 150. Rename this to item frame. This is where items are going to be and stuff. We made it a scrolling frame so that we can just scroll, have more room for stuff. So then I'm going to make the background color nice and dark as well. Too dark. So something like that, right? Then I'm going to set the bar image color to white just so it stands out more. There we go. Then insert a UI grid layout into said item frame. Then you can adjust the cell size to your liking. I think I'm gonna just do 100 by 25. Then we're gonna get to the coding. So open up the local script, rename it to core script, in parentheses put local, delete print hello world. And let's first create a few variables first. Let's create a variable for the user input service, game get service user inputs. Oh, that's the wrong service. User input service. Then create a variable for the core mode event. Core event is equal to game that replicated storage wait for child core event. Then create a variable for the local player. Is equal to game dot players local player. Then create a variable for the inventory. Oh my bad. The inventory GUI. Player dot player GUI wait for child inventory GUI. Right. Then we're gonna set the function. We're gonna say UIS that input began connect function in parentheses. Okay. In parentheses input comma processed enter. You're going to say if input dot use input type. We're just making it so that you press a certain key, inventory will open. Is equal to enum dot keycode, or sorry, not dot keycode, enum dot user input type dot keyboard and not process, which pretty much just means the player is not typing in chat. Enter. Then we'll say if input dot keycode is equal to enum dot keycode dot whatever keybind you want it to be. I'm just going to go with E. Enter. Then you're simply going to clear out the inventory for any current buttons it has and stuff, so that we're going to use text buttons so that you can equip and unequip items. So we're going to say, oh my bad, for I comma v in pairs. You're going to say inventory GUI dot inventory frame dot item frame get children enter. You're gonna say if v is a text button, then v destroy, and we will repopulate it. We will say for I comma v in pairs. You will say player dot items, which is going to be a folder that's going to be inside of the player, which we'll create on the server script. You're going to say get children. You're going to create a text button for each item the player currently has. So enter. So you will say local item button is equal to instance dot new text button, right? And we'll say item button dot name is equal to v dot name dot quotation marks button, right? Then we'll say item button dot text is equal to v dot name, right? Then we'll say we'll customize it a little bit. So background color 3 is equal to color 3 dot new 0. I will say 0.25 by 0.25 by 0.25. Colors are up to you guys, by the way. Item button dot text color 3 is equal to color 3 dot new, which makes white, so 1 by 1 by 1. Then we will parent it. So item button dot parent is of course equal to inventory GUI dot inventory frame dot item frame, right? Then we'll set up the function. So if a player is trying to equip or unequip something, we'll say item button dot activated connect function close parentheses enter. You will then fire the remote event, core event fire server quotation marks item. Then of course send over the name of said item, right? And then you're going to skip two ends, and then you're simply just going to enable or disable the UI, right? So inventory GUI.enabled is equal to not inventory GUI.enabled. Bam, right? Now we can move on to the server side, right? So insert a server script into server script service, rename set script to core script, in parentheses put server, delete print hello world. We are going to create two variables. First, create a variable for the remote event. So core event is equal to game, the replicated storage, wait for child, core event. Then create a variable for the items folder, which inside of server storage, local items is equal to game, the server storage, wait for child, items, right? Then you're going to set the first function, so when players join, we're going to say game.players.player added. By the way, my bad if I sound a little out of it. I'm a little tired, by the way, not going to lie to y'all. Anyway, connect function in parentheses, PLR, short for player, enter. We're then going to create an items folder to be stored inside of the player. Not to confuse. Oh, I just realized I named two variables the same thing. Okay, well, to be less confusing, let's say item, let's call this item folder. So this is going to be what's inside of the player. Or, yeah. Item folder is what's, just so people don't get confused. Items, the variable named items, that's the folder inside of server storage. Item folder is the folder of items inside of the player. Just to, so people know. Anyway, instance.new is equal to folder. Item folder. Dot name is of course equal to item folder. Item folder dot parent is equal to player. Then we will create a value for whatever the item is. I'm just going to create a placeholder value. And so you would just put values for each item the player has, whether they be something, they get out of a chest or they craft it, whatever. You would just insert those values into the item folder. So let's say sword, for example. So sword is equal to instance.new. We'll say it's a string value, right? And then we will say sword.name is equal to sword. And very important detail, the name right here, it needs to match whatever the name is inside of the folder. So since they match, because it's gonna use whatever this name is to search the folder to see if the item exists and if they can, equip or unequip it. And you'll say sword.value is equal to, whatever the value, whatever you want to put there. So sword.parent is equal to item folder, right? Now let's set up the on-server event function. So we will say core event, the on-server event, connect function. In parentheses, put PLR, which is short for the player, comma, event type, comma, arg1, which is short for argument number 1, enter. Create a variable for the player's character. You will say is equal to player.character. Then set up an if statement. You will say if event type is equal to, in quotation marks, the name of the event, so item, enter, right? Wait, that is what we named it, right? Yeah, okay. Item. Then you will create a variable for the item name, which is the first argument we sent over. Then you will create a variable for item, which we will have a default value of nil, because we need to check some things first. Let's first check to see if we can find said item inside of the character, which means that they currently have the tool equipped, right? So we'll say item name or player.backpack find first child item name, which means if it's inside the backpack, they don't have it equipped. They have the item, but they just don't have it equipped. So then we will say item is either equal to character, literally same thing we just wrote, or player.backpack find first child to account for both. Regardless of the outcome, we will say or where it is, we will destroy it because if they currently have it, that means they want to unequip it, right? Then we'll go after and we'll say else if not character find first child item name or not character or sorry not character or player that backpack find first child item name the other. So then if we don't find it, that means obviously the player wants to equip it. So we will say item is equal to items, which is again the folder inside of server storage. Regular bracket, item name. You will say clone. Then you will parent this the player's character so that it'll be automatically equipped. And that's how you make a basic equip and unequip system. Let's go ahead and test to make sure it works. As always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either of those options can be found in the description, how they're recommended. Okay, let's play and let's test. Okay, so if I press E, okay, and we already have a problem. Oh, my bad, I forgot to change that because I forgot to change the name on the server script. Okay, so just go to local script, line 16, just change this to item folder. That simple. I believe that's the only place I use it. So, play. E, okay, there you go. As you guys can see, the only value inside the item folder is the sword. So if I press E, you'll see we have it. If I left click, okay, we're missing something. Play the five shots. Huh? It was, what is it talking about? Line 24, else if not character find. Oh, my bad. My bad, guys. I put the wrong item here. Put item instead of item name. I knew I was going to make that mistake. It's a little bit of debugging. Okay, there we go. So I equipped it, right? And I can unequip it. Yep, there we go. I can unequip it even if I don't have it equipped, but it's obviously in my backpack. It'll get rid of it. So yeah, that's how you make a basic equip system with tools, with the basic inventory system. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely leave, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you all for watching.